bottles, throwing my mom against things. I was too scared. She doesn't want him here either. It's just she's afraid to tell him because she's afraid she's gonna get hit again. He got this chain and he just like hits her with it. I'm depressed and I don't want to go through that over and over again.
Each year, nearly 1 million women suffer abuse at the hands of the men who are supposed to love them. In more than half those homes, there is another much larger group of victims, their children. I'm Dylan McDermott. What happens to these hidden victims? How is each child shaped by the violence he or she witnesses? We're going to take you into the lives of families struggling with the consequences of domestic violence and see what can be done to change its devastating legacy.
Sheriff Station, what's going on?
Nothing at all, ma'am.
Well, somebody said they needed 911.
Okay, hang on.
I don't know. You need to walk out. I don't know what to talk to nobody. Yeah, of course.
What's the problem?
No problem. I was just having a discussion between mother and son.
How old's your son?
He's 10 years old.
10?
Yeah. Bye-bye.
No, don't hang up on me, sir. I'm going to send a unit anyway.
You can say anything you want, but I'm going to still walk out here.
Okay, let me talk to somebody else in the house then.
Hello?
What's going on there?
He hit her.
Okay, he hit her? Is that him yelling?
Yeah.
Is he drunk?
Yeah.
How old are you?
2735 just occurred. A 10-year-old informant called, said that his mom's boyfriend hit his mom with his hands about 5 minutes ago. They called back and there's no answer on the call back.
When it comes to children, I don't care who you are in law enforcement, it gets to you.
What happened tonight?
I went to the store with my friends because my mom and him went out. When we came home from the store, I heard them yelling, so I walked back there and I saw him hit her.
I'm dealing with emotional trauma, working full-time, trying to make this boy happy. And I got met a man. It's a pile of
Does this happen very often?
He threw a cigarette at her before and stuff like that.
Does he live here?
Kinda.
Do you want him here?
No.
How long have you been with him?
too damn long, but I can't get rid of him.
What's too damn long?
Look at the record. You guys do your groundwork.
Okay, Gloria, this is the first time I've ever talked to you, okay?
I called my sister and then no one was there, and then he started yelling at her again, and I grabbed the phone and called 911. He smacked the phone out of my hands, and he went bam and slammed it into that.
What did he slam?
The phone.
Okay. So did he know you were calling 911?
Yeah.
Preventing victim or witness from reporting crime by force or fear. He's the witness. He pulled the phone from your son's hand and he did something with the phone. That's a crime. It's a felony. If he's arrested, it's a $100,000 bail.
I didn't want my mom to get hit and stuff, so that's why I called. I've tried to call before, but he just grabbed the phone away from me or something, and then, or he'd get on the other line so I couldn't dial.
Has he ever hit you?
I have bruises on my legs saying he's playing, but he socks me in my legs and stuff.
Really hard.
Yeah, and he grabs me and stuff and yells in my face.
He does? Okay. Did you tell your mom you don't want him here?
Yeah, she doesn't want him here either. It's just she's afraid to tell him because she's afraid she's going to get hit again.
I just wondered how you thought John was doing.
You know what? As long as you're here, when you guys go, he's going to start crying. The boy sleeps in the other night. He's just freaked out.
I kind of feel embarrassed.
To who?
To about everyone, because then people might laugh at me or something because of all this and stuff.
You're the man of the hour, dude. You helped your mom out big time, okay? He's going through gladiator school, and he's basically turning into a man, and he's forced into being like that because of the way his mother's living and who she chooses to live with.
It's sad that he has to grow up so fast. We have 10 and 12-year-olds, and my kids are kids still.
If he stays in the same kind of home life, he's going to grow up with some major problems.
It's up to the mom. We do what we can do, but now mom's got to take over. So we hope that she follows through for the little guy's sake.
I'm his sister, and I'm just afraid of him. I'm, like, scared.
I have a passionate hatred for wife beaters. If I see them, I'm not even gonna sock you. I'm gonna take it to the next level. I'm gonna make sure you don't come back the next day.
On this day, 16-year-old Hector is at a school, attending a rap session for kids who've grown up with family violence.
I'm only violent when I need to protect myself.
And people who have been exposed to violence, who have high tolerance for violence, may oftentimes be violent in resolving their problems.
Seeing all that my whole entire life, you know, I just wanted to get it over with. Didn't want to see it anymore. That's why I stabbed my dad. That's why I did what I did.
Hector's entire life has been defined by his parents fighting.
I knew it wasn't right, because if my mom cries or somebody's crying, obviously something's not right. But I didn't know what it was. I was too young to understand it. I think it was after I turned 6, I started to realize what was going on. They would just fight openly by that time. They would just anywhere in the house. They didn't care if we were watching or not.
My dad has a bad temper, and he took his anger on my brother and my mom, fighting physically with hands.
Back in elementary school, I talked to the psych right there and told her, you know, I wanted to kill myself, because honestly I did. And even for saying that, I got in trouble. My dad, my mom were, you know, getting mad at me because I had to drag them all the way out of their work so they could take me to go see the psych. Obviously that backfired. You know, never tried after that. I tried to call the cops. The first time they made me cry because I was scared. The second time around, the cops turned it around on me. Why are you calling the cops on your parents? You know, you shouldn't be doing that. They're not even probably having an argument. Everything looks great.
Any population of people who feel silenced begin to develop a sense of powerlessness, and what a lot of young people will do is they will turn that into rage. The rage part really is about a perceived injustice and no one doing anything about it. It just it boils and bubbles and over and over and over again until there is an explosion.
Eventually, what it all came down to was I took matters into my own hands.
On a Wednesday afternoon less than 8 months ago, Hector took matters into his own hands. After seeing years of violence between his parents, he heard them fighting again. His father was not living with the family at the time.
From this angle, I could see my dad over there. And at that exact same moment, he had a nab machine, and he basically got it and just swung it across my mom's face just like that. And at that moment, I just decided, you know what? It all ends here.
I was outside waiting for my dad because we were going to go somewhere.
I seen him halfway through the stairs. Everything was instantaneous. I just got into basically what you could call a kill mode. The only main thought running through my head was kill him and get this whole lifetime's worth of abuse over with.
And I saw him with something in his hand. I couldn't see it like clearly.
I remember pinning him up against a gray van, and that's when I stabbed him. I just remember thrusting the knife into him, but I don't know how many times. It's just a big blur.
I saw the blood that my dad was shedding.
Honestly, I was hoping he was gonna die. You know, I'm gonna make it just end it. Even if I have to go to jail for it, I don't want this to continue on anymore. I just want it to stop. Of course, I'm in pain, man, all the time. But what the hell can I do about it? It's not gonna go away. I already know this for a fact. No matter what I do, it's going to be there till the day I die.
His father survived the 5 stab wounds. Hector was given 6 months probation after pleading self-defense on his mother's behalf. He has since been in and out of juvenile hall several times for probation violations.
Being in juvenile hall obviously isn't a kick. I'm used to it. As sad as that sounds, I've been here 4 or 5 times. My father's been visiting me for the last 2 Saturdays. Yeah, we don't talk much. I would love to talk to my father about what happened, but knowing him as well as I do, he won't open up. I've seen that ever since I was little. He's a very proud guy.
No, 350.
350.
No.
When Hector is out of juvenile hall, family life continues. His parents are currently separated, and there is a restraining order against his father.
After the incident happened, the family, we really never talked about it. In my eyes, that's a problem. Because, you know, we should have at least said something, you know, try, even if we do dig up old feelings, you know, to try to just put closure on it, because it's still an open wound.
Hector has been attending a court-mandated anger management class, but none of the family members has received any individual counseling.
I like my mom, but she's like my brother. Like, a ticking time bomb waiting to explode, right? She's like going through lots and lots of shadows of darkness, like there's no light for her.
Ella ahora está empezando a fallar y no quiero que me pase.
She's real worried about my sister. As soon as she kicked into junior high, she saw my sister just drifting away little by little. She's starting to fail in the grades in school.
All the pain I had to go through, I ruined some of my childhood. I'm depressed, I'm sad, and I don't want to go through that over and over again. Just sad.
I stabbed my dad so that my mom could wake up. I'm traumatized off of that. So is my mom. She's not willing to admit it.
Sometimes there's anger towards the victim in that household because a lot of times they feel like, why don't you make them stop?
And I love my mom, but I hate what she didn't do. She had so many opportunities to leave him, and I would tell her time after time, leave him, call the police, call a lawyer, get a divorce, get out of here, let's go, and she wouldn't do it.
I feel stressed for my family. I just want them to be, like a happy, normal family.
Children who grow up in violent homes are significantly more likely to become victims or perpetrators. It's like being exposed to the flu virus. If you're exposed to it, you may not necessarily contract it, but you're at greater risk for contracting it.
I don't do much interacting with my family. I probably spend more time with strangers and friends than I do with my own flesh and blood.
All right, Hector. All right, take care.
My violent tendencies. It's just like 15 years of anger because of all the things that I've seen and all the things that I've been put through. A lot of anger is still stored up inside. There's no such thing as just, taking your anger, taking any type of emotion, just getting rid of it from one day to the next. It's impossible.
Another probation violation for truancy puts Hector back in juvenile hall for 3 weeks. He will be released in a few hours.
When you've got 85% of adult males who are incarcerated coming from violent homes, you cannot deny the connection.
That hurt causes anger, and that anger causes violence.
Violence creates a trauma that creates a disconnect. I don't care, and guess what? I don't care about you either. So I don't care if I have to snatch your purse to go get high, to get some money. We all have to get involved because if they don't care, they're going to take it out on someone. It might be you.
Now, I would like you to change for your father, man, for the ones that love you, for the ones that come up here and see you.
You have all these wonderful and beautiful plans for the future. Oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that when I get out. And then as soon as I get out, I'm back to my old thing. Gracias. So I'm happy to see him, He came to pick me up. That's cool, Somebody had to come pick me up, so that's great, I feel nice, feel good. I'm going home. I've always said, I hate my dad, I don't like my dad, I wish I could have killed him, and so on and so forth. But then I think about it, and I do regret the whole situation coming together. But honestly, if I were to go back, I'd do the exact same thing. And that sounds like it contradicts itself, but it's for the simple fact that I wouldn't know how else to react.
I don't like going to juvie to see my brother locked up, see him there behind bars. I love my brother. I don't want him to go through so much pain because he already suffered pain as a child. He already messed up his childhood, so I don't want him to mess up his adulthood.
My little sister, Stephanie, it was her birthday the night that I stabbed my dad and that whole thing went down. All I know is that it's gonna affect her just big time because she has a strong relationship with my dad.
I love my dad, but he's just being stubborn. He doesn't get it. My dad wants to get a second chance, but for me, this second chance is gonna be like a nightmare all over again.
Hector and Stephanie's mother must make the difficult decision whether to let their father back into their home.
Mom has to realize that it's not just her that's been injured and hurt, but it's also been her children that have been deeply, deeply affected.
I hide my pain, hide the soft part of me, that way nobody would know. But when I'm alone, I just shut all my feelings to myself because I had nobody to talk to except the wall. I want to share my problems with somebody who will listen, that could help me.
What people do to each other is preventable. If you can see it, you can stop it. Nothing about family violence or growing up in a violent home is cut and dry. The only thing that is cut and dry is that the violence needs to not be there.
I'm mad because I'm back. Nothing much has happened ever since I came out of juvenile hall the last time around. Just go to school, come home, watch TV, go to sleep, once in a blue moon, go out to a party.
I think he might do something like go out of control, like kill somebody. And I don't want that to happen because I don't want him to be in jail for life.
I wish I was actually back in there just for the simple reason of peace and relaxation and not having to worry about anything in the world. I have anger at many, many people, and by this time, I just lost track. All I know is I'm gonna blow up. I don't know how, I don't know where, I don't know when.
But Hector really needs to pay attention to how he has been damaged by the violence that he witnessed and the violence that he has perpetrated, because it's so easy for him to just go to this place of, I'm mad, I'm angry, let me punch something, let me break something.
I have no other way to release it. I've tried writing, it don't work. I tried kicking it, it don't work. I tried to go to sleep, it don't work. I tried crying, it works a little. I get high, it works until my high goes down, then it's just worse. Then I tried to go to the gym, that don't work either. So I already know, so I'm just, knowing me, knowing myself as much as I do, is just, I'm gonna blow up one day, I'm just go kick somebody's ass or something, I don't know.
The damage from domestic violence can be extreme, even when the abuse is not directed at the children themselves. And the longer children stay in a tormented family, the more likely it is that one day they will see something they can never forget.
My dad, the only true memory I have about him is when he was drinking, he'd put me in the room. He had a lock on the outside of the door. And, you know, sometimes I'd hear my mom screaming. I'd always hear him yelling.
My husband would stay home and drink and devise ways of abusing me. I was mentally tortured. And when he was physically abusive to me, it was extreme.
He was beating her all the time. And my mom says that I was like in the room crying, telling my dad to let me out.
My son was being encouraged to call me a bitch and a whore. And at that point, I wanted to get away, not so much for me, but for my son.
When David was 5 years old, he and his mother escaped with the help of a domestic violence shelter.
They had my husband rated at the highest rating of dangerous that they had on their scale.
A year and a half later, David was doing better. Anne began letting the boy's father back into their lives.
He wasn't drinking, and he was being the charming, fun guy with a touch of sadness because his wife had taken his boy away from him.
On the morning of May 2nd, 1982, David's father was spending the weekend at their house. David was 6 years old.
I heard a rasping, and that's when I went into the bedroom, and there was blood everywhere. I just mostly remember seeing blood and knife.
He had a serrated-edged butcher knife, and he slashed my throat.
I jumped on his back. I guess he threw me off, and I got back on and was choking him and kicking him, telling him to get off my mom.
Stop it, you're hurting my mom. Look at all the blood. And my son persisted. And if he hadn't, I would never have gotten off that floor.
He seemed mad. I don't know if he was mad because I pulled him off, mad because he couldn't finish what he was doing. I don't know. I mean, it's 6 years old. How do you judge stuff like that?
David's father then locked himself in the bathroom and killed himself by cutting his own throat. David has never been the same since.
I saw a bright, beautiful little boy be emotionally ambushed. His school grades went down. I had him in private school for first grade, and he failed.
The puppies I like too much. I don't want to give them all away. But if I get good grades and keep them, I'll be able to keep one puppy.
I mean, I went from a straight A student to a straight F student. She tried to put me in counseling, and I probably did my best just to manipulate the counselor. I just started doing my own thing, whether it was stealing, ditching school. I was getting in a lot of fights. I never stabbed anybody. Well, Yeah, I never stabbed anybody. Guns were never a thing to me. I guess a bat, it's more raw force. A gun, it'll shoot you and kill you. A knife, it'll hurt. But a bat will break your bones and make you hurt for a long time.
My son was locked up basically from the time he was 15 until he was 18. I feel bad for him. He's my baby. He went through things that no child should have to go through.
At the age of 20, David met Laurie. They were married soon after and began a life together.
It seemed like the honorable thing to do. She was pregnant, so I figured, well, let's get married.
He proposed to me, and we both discussed having kids at a young age.
I think that was a big mistake. I mean, at 24, I shouldn't be married with 2 kids. When I'm at home, I want to relax. I don't have any parenting skills. They're doing something, or when they're crying, I guess I'll tell them to shut up, or I'll go put them in their room, because I don't want to hear them crying. I define myself as a cold individual. I don't want to be attached to anybody. If I lose my family over my business, I don't care.
He's very emotionally detached. That kind of detachment comes from the people who have seen the worst abuse.
No, I don't expect you to go drinking after work and then come home at 10 o'clock.
You know what? Maybe that's my way of dealing with life. I get a lot of stress at work, and I come home, and I understand you have issues that you need to deal with, but by then I'm emotionally drained and I can't deal with them.
I don't want to be around my wife. She asks me a lot of dumb questions that I don't think that need to be answered. I'll tell her to shut up and leave me alone.
It's pretty extreme what he went through. I've never gone through anything remotely close to what he's gone through. I think he has a right to some degree to be the way he is.
I'm not going to stay married. I am going to get a divorce.
I think she's pretty happy still. I mean, yeah, we have, little arguments here and there. They're not screaming and they're not violent, so I don't think it's something that's gonna, in a sense, give her nightmares,
I'm telling you, I just want a temporary separation and work through my stuff. I made that decision yesterday.
You can't just kick people out of your life that love you.
I don't know how to love. To me, love is temporary. It's like sex. You have it, it's over with, big deal.
This is how I look at it. My parents are still married. That's what I want for myself.
Your parents are still married, yeah, right.
You're not letting
they don't even love each other. They hate each other.
Oh, come on. I didn't stay in this relationship just to have you verbally abuse me and say, okay, I'm out of here.
I have issues, though. You're right. I've suppressed them for years. Why do you think I snap at anything? I verbally abuse you, Lord.
I know. You don't think I have a brain that I can't figure things out. I know you.
I figure things out, but you're not the sharpest knife in the drawer.
You're not willing to share any of your past with me.
Maybe I'm afraid of ruining your life like mine's been ruined.
His life was so violently interrupted when he was 6 years old. If I had left earlier, he wouldn't have experienced everything that he did, and so he wouldn't have all the pain.
I'll go rent a place, you stay here. There's your separation. Don't call me until I call you.
He just going around in circles. I don't think he knows what he wants.
This little girl, she's in a daze. Verbal bullets are flying over her head, and she and her baby brother, how do they learn about adult relationships? They watch mom and dad.
When we first got together, I tried to leave at Varna. You were like screaming. I was going to handcuff you to a door, and you did nothing but yell at the top of your lungs.
I'm not sure that he can feel anything except anger. When he yells, it frightens me.
He has, one time gotten angry, not punching or anything like that, but he held me by my throat, not tightly, but, to just, keep me in his control. He's the one that realized what he was doing at that point and stopped. At least against me. He put his hand through a wall that night.
She's the best thing that's happened to me. She's better than the damn sliced bread and sliced fat-free cheese I have.
Then why wouldn't you let me stay and help you?
I need 2 or 3 months where I can get my counseling, evaluate myself, and be a whole person.
So you wouldn't see me for 3 months at all?
I want to be able to enjoy my kids. I don't know how you enjoy them, because I don't know how to. They're whining, I'm just like, get them away from me. What if I changed 2, 3 diapers the whole time they've been alive?
But you know that's not uncommon. My dad never changed any of our diapers either. Let's say you were me for a minute, okay?
Okay.
We're separated, okay? We're separated. I'm sitting there. 3 months down the line, you decide I'm doing good and I don't need my wife anymore. I'm getting divorced.
So that's what you're afraid of. You're afraid of me finding out that I'm having a great life and me leaving you.
Partially. Well, look at it in your terms. Would you just want to sit there and wait for me while I got through counseling and find out that there's nothing there still?
Lori, I don't have the same mental stamina.
Am I just supposed to sit around and wait for you?
Yeah.
No. I don't trust him. I wouldn't put it past him to go find some girls to go sleep with. He'll cheat on me. In which case, if I find that out, then, who needs that? I don't need that, and the kids don't need to know that his father is a cheater and a liar.
If you're willing to walk, I'll have my lawyer drop the paperwork Monday morning. If that's what you want, I will take you to court and I will take the kids from you.
You won't be able to take them.
Yes, I will.
Oh, and you're going to create a good childhood for them?
Money talks, bull walks.
You wouldn't even raise the kids. You would get someone to do it for you.
You're right. I'd pay a nanny to do it for myself. Whoa, hey! Go get some ice cream.
When I think of my grandchildren, they are on an emotional roller coaster in that house. They're either manically happy or terrified.
Did you get a Tweety? A Tweety? Why don't you go turn the TV on for her?
So you want to watch cartoons?
Let her eat her.
I want to take them out of the house. You can't adequately parent your children if you are in a situation of abuse. She can't spend the time with her children being nurturing with them because the abuser pulls the focus of attention onto themselves. And my son will say, flat out, I'm the only one in this house that counts.
It's all about him, I guess. My feelings is he doesn't care what I think, he doesn't care what I feel, and he doesn't care what I do. I'm his little slave puppet that's just supposed to sit here and be the mother of his kids so that he can just abuse me and claim to take them from me. You know what a separation is going to lead to. It's going to lead to divorce because that's what you want, and you don't lie anymore. You lie 50% of the time.
Get the out of my life. I don't want you. Is that what you want? Get the out.
See, then what's the separation going to do? You don't want a separation, you want a divorce.
Okay. I want a divorce. How do you want to see me? Coming or going?
Ice cream. You did get the towel out of your shirt.
Answer my question.
What?
You want to see me coming or going? You want a divorce? Let's go.
I didn't say I want a divorce. That's
Then
what
shut the up.
That's what you want. And quit talking like that from Florida.
I don't care.
I know you don't care because you want to screw up as much as you are.
Okay.
You want everybody to be screwed up as much as you are. That's why you manipulate me and hurt me, and that's why you talk like that in front of your kids.
Is that it? Let me make it easy to you. See you later.
Hi, Pumpkin. How was your ice cream?
He saw his father manipulate. He saw his father control. He saw his father be powerful and to the end. And when their backs are against the wall, they do exactly what their parents did.
I'm trying to understand.
I won't come back. You lose.
Whatever, fine. We get the separation.
No problem.
He does this all the time.
David may not have the ability to empathize, which means he's dangerous.
He said he wants to pick up some macaroni sauce and come back. No, he's at a bar having another drink.
Lori.
Yeah.
Open the door.
Lori and David are in, at the very least, an emotionally abusive cycle. He threatens her. He tells her he's going to leave. He leaves her. Then he comes back, and he brings her a gift.
I thought you said a divorce. I really thought that's what she said. That's why I left. That's what I thought she said. So I was like, okay,
See,
bye.
all the time she doesn't hear what I say.
And that's why I called her. Is that what you said? No.
Most men who are abusive are very cognizant of how they look in public and monitor their behavior. He put on his best face for the camera. He's more dangerous when somebody isn't paying attention.
Maybe I won't act out violently, but it scares me that I might. You've seen how I'll chase people just for cutting me off.
No, but you're not planning on smashing into them.
No, I'm planning on chasing them, following them to their house and beat the out of them. I just don't ever in my life want to reenact what happened with my father. Not saying I'd take a knife to your neck. I just never want to lay a hand on you.
I want to believe that he would never do that, but from my experience, I can't. It's not safe for her to be there.
I just think that if you're at that state, that night you don't come home.
I don't think that Lori gets yet that she could be in imminent danger.
No, you don't have to come out, baby. Go watch TV.
It's about, I have no feelings for my child who is walking through a war zone. It's tremendously sad for his children.
They need to face the truth of what they're doing in their lives so that they can stop passing it on to their children.
For most adults who grew up in violent homes, the patterns of violence they witnessed as children become ingrained. Destructive behavior is a habit which can only be broken by seeking help.
As a little girl, I saw my mom abused, beat up, battered, not just once or twice, but hundreds of times.
Growing up in a home racked by domestic violence, the last thing Karen wanted was to repeat the destructive pattern of her mother's life.
It's horrible, it's terrible. And it's just even worse, the feeling knowing that your kids went through the same thing.
Me and my sisters, we'd always be scared because we said that we didn't want to see anything else happen to our mom again.
He got this chain and he just like hits her with it. And we're like, he treated my mommy bad. Really bad. Bad, bad, bad.
Karen's 4 little girls grew up watching their mother suffer through 2 abusive marriages. Then she made the most terrible choice of all.
This one lasted only about maybe 9 months. This one almost costed me my life.
She got involved with another abusive man. It culminated one brutal night in more than 12 hours of beatings.
I just heard things banging against. Then I went outside and I just saw him throwing my mom against things. and then I just saw him pick up beer bottles, but I was too scared and I went back inside with my little sister, and Gordy said that mommy died.
He almost killed me. And my little daughter, she was only 2 years old at the time, she touched my face and she goes, owie. She goes, Mommy, you got owie. My daughter saw everything that happened. They didn't really understand anything. All they did was like go along with what was going on because they thought that mom knew what was right. They depend on their mom, like children do. They depend on their mom. But unfortunately, their mom didn't really know how to be a mom.
Karen was hospitalized for her injuries and then taken with her kids to a shelter for victims of domestic violence.
When we got here, I was scared. I didn't know what this place was. I was scared that he'd come out of the bushes or somewhere, then he'd just grab us and take us.
We see real parentified kids where mother has been in survival mode.
So the child has been the little parent in the family while mom is focused on staying alive.
My 11-year-old, she wanted to be mom. She wanted to protect me. And she took care of her sisters.
What we do see with these children is their depression level, anxiety. They have very strong survival skills, and yet their social skills are lacking.
Hi, sister. Hi, sister.
Once the children understand that they're safe here, they start acting out.
First of all, if you have a problem, you come and tell me. Remember what I said about hitting? Do you remember what I said? You don't hit, okay?
They're angry. They punch, they hit, they scream, their drawings are aggressive in nature.
The shelter runs a 2-year transitional program that tries to break the cycle of violence by teaching job and parenting skills combined with intensive therapy.
I'm having a hard time thinking of what it means to be like for a 4-year-old. Instead of worrying about Barbie dolls and what's on television in terms of cartoons, to have to sit there and worry about, is my mother alive?
My dad used to beat my mom up really bad. He used to make her undress, beat her up naked, make her sleep on the floor, called her an animal.
We sit here and we watch this incredibly high number of people that start reporting in these groups how they were raised in homes of domestic violence. So we're seeing second and third generation coming in. If what we have been doing with domestic violence victims, if it's right and it's been working, why are we in our third generation?
One of the therapy programs here involves an adult who shares his experiences growing up in a home with domestic violence.
You could see the arguments escalating. I would take my little sisters into the room, and then we would just listen by the door. Some of them still don't realize that their kids are being abused also. Like when they say, oh, my kids didn't see him hit me. My kids weren't there. You hear everything. Many times you wonder, you know, if she made it through this one, will she make it through the next one?
Dawn talks about what it was like to come home from school, and the closer you got to home, the slower you walked because you didn't know if mom was going to be alive or not. And what this does is it forces these women to accept the responsibility, to look at the impact on their children, and to start making different choices in their life.
My children, they've seen a lot. They've seen their mom get beat up. They're scared of, they're a little afraid of men.
I don't like men. Because they're too ugly. No, because they treat kids and mom's wrong.
Sorry, Mom. No, don't be sorry. It's okay. You're not in trouble.
How do you make your daughters understand that not all men are the same? I feel guilty for what happened to them and for what I exposed them to.
People don't realize when they're raising children in a domestic violence situation that they're raising abusers or they're raising victims. It depends on what end of the pendulum that child takes.
I hated him. I hated him for the way he treated my girls and the way he was with me. But yet I couldn't leave him.
I hear all of you say we stayed for love, we stayed because we were supposed to, we stayed for values, we stayed to keep the family together.
To help Karen and other victims of abusive relationships realize why they stayed. This shelter runs a controversial therapy group led by a former batterer.
Women love their abusers at first. We rely on that. We try to set that up.
The first group, the women don't want to be there. They don't want to talk. They don't want to deal with this. They would just as soon kill him.
Sometimes I'd slap her around every day. The slapping or the pushing or the pulling the hair and dragging across the room. And those kind of things were, it didn't take much to set that off.
That emotional tension that's connected with violence. What children do is they connect that tension to love because the parents are saying it. I love your father, but Mom, you've got 2 black eyes and a broken nose.
My first marriage, I used to provoke him to try to hit me because I felt like if you beat me, then you love me.
It just never crosses the victim's mind that these men truly don't love them and that they don't have a concept of what love truly is.
I did not love her. And a batterer does not love you. When I tell them that batterers don't love them, that hurts them almost more than anything. But it's the truth. Batterers just don't love the women. They're a possession. And a lot of women say, no, that's not true. You know, that they want to hang on to that. That's the last thing they let go of. There is nothing you can do to please an abuser. Our job is to make you feel inadequate. I say things all the time that makes them angry because they see their abuser in me. If you had self-confidence and self-esteem, you probably would have left a long time ago. So that's the number one thing that we have to tear down.
The women would have an opportunity to ask this individual questions that they could never ask their own batterer out of fear of being retaliated against.
I want to know if do you love your children?
Yeah.
Did you carry enough, I mean, to hit your wife and beat her up and stuff? Where were they at during this period of time?
Well, I tried to never do it in front of them. I'm not saying that I didn't do that in front of them, because I did. But see,
But you say you love your children.
Of
If you
course.
love your children, how could you even expose them to something like that?
My thinking was, as long as I didn't abuse them, then they were fine. You know, we have a tremendous ability to deceive ourselves, to fool ourselves.
So you didn't only not care for your wife, and you didn't care for the children, you just cared for yourself.
You're right, it was just me.
Her children are. I never expected this. I always thought of a shelter as this big old cafeteria with a bunch of beds in it and a bunch of mothers. And it's neat because I know I don't have to lie to anybody, because nobody's going to hit me here, you know. Also, my girls, they're free to express what they feel. My oldest daughter, she told me, Mom, she goes, you know, when I was 7 years old, I felt like I didn't have a mom. So I had a knife. I had a knife right here under my shirt, and I was going to kill myself. I mean, I couldn't believe. I go, here, my daughter telling me that. And that's exactly how I felt when I was little. And I go, why did you just tell me right now? I said, because I don't feel like that no more, Mom.
My mom, I feel a lot prouder because she's a lot better. She's a high-spirited person. She likes to do things.
She's like starting to get nicer than she used to be, and she's like just getting fun.
We have been able to reparent her, and with that, Karen's been able to learn how to interact with her children, that she's in charge, not the children, not somebody else outside of her.
This, if you're gonna fight over this, if you can't play like sisters, then I'm gonna turn it off and we're gonna watch a movie. For the first time, I can do what a mother's supposed to do with her children. And it's kind of overwhelming, you know, it's at times where I just want to cry and I say, I can't believe that I'm here.
All of Karen's daughters are getting therapy.
My 11-year-old, I keep trying to get her to play things that the normal 11-year-old child does.
All right, ready? We'll pick caramuza.
And she's learning to be a sister to her sisters. She's learning how to be a daughter to me.
In a year and a half, these girls went from terrified kids to participating and realizing that life can be spontaneous, life can be fun. And I think that's a wonderful testimony to how hard Karen has worked and her girls have worked here.
The healing part, it's hard. A whole lifetime of domestic violence just doesn't go away, you know, in a year or 2 years. I want to teach my daughters the right way, because I don't want it to go from generation to generation, because this is the third generation. I hope this generation ends it, and I think it will.
Growing up in a home where violence and the threat of violence is an accepted part of daily life robs children of their childhoods, steals their trust, empathy, and self-esteem, and results in new generations of victims and abusers. How can we stand by and let the cycle continue from generation to generation? We owe it to the children to do everything we can to break that cycle. Without intervention, without help, who will these children grow up to be? If you or anyone you know is experiencing domestic violence, call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE.